A pleasant day to everyone. We are Group 8 representing the Bachelor in Public Administration Open University 33. Today, we are humbly presenting our research manuscript entitled Collaborative Governance and Social Equity, an evaluative study of the expanded 4PH rental housing modality. This study was partially completed for our subject Fundamentals of Research in Public Administration under the guidance of our esteemed course specialist, Professor Ruth Elaine C. Jacinto. For our introduction, I will be presenting a practical evaluation of the expanded 4PH rental housing modality. In Article 13, Section 9 and 10 of the Philippine Constitution, it explicitly mandates the state to provide adequate, affordable housing and basic services for marginalized citizens. Yet, rapid urbanization and rising land values have pushed low-income families and informal settlers into hazardous danger zones across urban centers like Quezon City. To address a staggering 6 million unit housing backlog, the government established the Department of Human Settlement and Urban Development under Republic Act 11201, followed by the flagship 4PH program. While 4PH initially prioritized home ownership, the administration recognized that many are simply priced out of the private market. This led to expanded 4PH program, introducing flexible public rental housing options designed for low-wage earners. A key manifestation of this shift is the 4PHQ Citizen Homes project on Nia Road, Quezon City, developed through an institutional partnership between national agencies and the local government unit of Quezon City. This mid-rise development will provide 2,156 rental units to transition families out of danger zones. However, executing this requires highly complex collaborative governance. When these multi-stakeholder frameworks falter, operational bottlenecks and rigid criteria risk excluding the very people they mean to protect. Because there is a critical shortage of empirical research on how collaborative governance directly shapes social equity in rental models. This study evaluates the NIA Road project across four core pillars: affordability, transparency, accountability, and responsiveness. Ultimately, we seek to ensure public housing is not just built, but is equitably delivered.
Theoretical framework. This study is anchored on four theories that explain how collaborative governance contributes to achieve social equity in implementing the expanded 4PH rental housing modality in Quezon City. While the four theories supports this study, the primary theoretical foundation is the collaborative theory of Emerson Abachi and Balog 2012 because it best explains how multiple stakeholders work together to achieve equitable housing outcomes. According to this theory, complex public issues such as affordable housing cannot be addressed by a single agency alone. Instead, they are required collaboration among the national government agencies, local government units, private developers, and community to achieve the shared goals. The key concepts of this theory include interagency coordination, stakeholder participation, transparency and accountability, institutional responsiveness, and social equity, which is measured through accessibility, affordability, and inclusiveness. To strengthen the theoretical foundation, the study also incorporates three supporting theories. First, the network governance theory by Froban and Kennis 2007 emphasizes coordination and resource sharing among organizations. Second, the collaborative governance model of Ansen and Gash 2008. It highlights stakeholder participation, trust building, and consensus in decision making. Finally, and the last, Frederickson social equity theory of 1990 emphasizes fairness and equal access to government services, particularly to marginalized sectors. Applying these theories to the study, we posit that effective collaboration among Department of Human Settlement, Urban Development, the Quezon City LGU, private developers, and intended beneficiaries improve the implementation of the expanded 4PH rental housing modality by promoting accessible, affordable, transparent, responsive, and inclusive housing services, ultimately leading to better social equity outcomes.
Our conceptual framework is anchored on the collaborative governance theory of Ansel and Gosh 2008 and the integrative framework of Emerson Abachi, Blog 2012. So these theories explains that effective implementation of public programs depend on the collaboration among government agencies, stakeholders, and beneficiaries through coordinations, participations, transparency, accountability, and responsiveness. Saying expanded 4PH rental housing modality involves multiple implementing agencies. Collaborative governance is the most appropriate framework for this study. In our framework, collaborative governance is the independent variable measured through the interagency coordination, community participation, administrative transparency, accountability, and institutional responsiveness. These are expected to influence social equity, our dependent variable, which is assessed in terms of accessibility, affordability, and inclusiveness. The framework assumes that a stronger collaboration among implementing agencies leads to a more equitable and effective implementation of the expanded 4PH rental housing modality. Ultimately, the findings of this study will serve as the basis for policy recommendation to strengthen collaborative governance and improve the delivery of affordable and inclusive housing programs.
Our statement of the problem. Our study aimed to evaluate the implementation of expanded 4PH rental housing modality at the Q City Home, Naiya Road rental housing development in Quezon City. Especially, it seeks to examine the role of collaborative governance in promoting social equity among qualified applicants and intended beneficiaries. Through this study, we hope to determine whether the collaboration among the government's agency and stakeholder contributes to a more equitable, transparent, and responsive housing program. To answer our general objective, the study is guided by five research questions. The first one, we seek to identify the demographic and social economic profiles of the beneficiaries. This includes their age, sex, monthly household income, household size, employment status, and sector. And lastly, the length of residency in Quezon City. These variables will help us better understand the background of the respondents and provide a basis for interpreting their assessment in the housing program. The second one, we aim to determine how beneficiaries assess the implementation of expanded 4PH rental housing modality in terms of social equity. This will be measured using five indicators, which is the accessibility, affordability, exclusiveness, administrative transparency, and accountability, and lastly, institutional responsiveness. These dimensions allow us to evaluate whether the program provides equal opportunities, affordable housing options, transparency process, and responsive service to its intended beneficiary. The third one, we will examine how collaborative governance is manifested in the implementation of the program. Especially, we will assess it through interagency coordination, community participation, administrative transparency and accountability, and institutional responsiveness. Effective collaboration among governments and agency, local government unit, and other stakeholders in essential to ensure the housing program are implemented efficiently and that the needs of the beneficiaries are properly addressed. The fourth one is the study seek to determine whether there is a significant difference in the beneficiaries' assessment of the program when grouped according to their democratic and socioeconomic profile. In other words, we want to know if the factors such as age, income, employment status, or household characteristic influence how beneficiaries perceive the implementations of the housing program. This analysis will help identify whether certain groups experience the program differently and whether its improvement are needed to ensure fairness for all the beneficiaries. And finally, based on the finding of the study, we aim to develop policy recommendations that may improve the implementation of the expanded 4PH housing modality. These recommendations are intended to strengthen collaboration among implementing agencies, enhance service delivery, and promote greater social equity in the provision of affordable housing. As shown in the research framework, our independent variable is collaborative governance, which consists of interagency coordination, community participation, administrative transparency and accountability, and institutional responsiveness. Meanwhile, our dependent variable is social equity. which is measured through accessibility, affordability, exclusiveness, transparency, and accountability, and social responsiveness. This study assumes that the stronger collaboration governance contributes to a better social equity outcomes. The findings are expected to provide evidence-based policy recommendation that will support the government agencies in improving the implementation of expanded for PH housing modality. For the scope and limitation of the study, our research focuses on evaluating implementation of the expanded 4PH rental housing modality at the Quezon City Homes Naiya Road Housing Project in Barangay Piñahan, Quezon City. The study examined the program in terms of socioeconomic accessibility, affordability, administrative transparency, accountability, institutional responsiveness, and exclusiveness. It also evaluates how collaborative governments among the DSUD, the Quezon City government, and other stakeholder partners contributes to effective implementation of the program. Our respondents consist of 282 qualified applicants and intended beneficiaries selected from the population of 958 qualified applicants, along with 5 to 10 key informant from implementing agencies and partners organizations. As per the limitations, this study is confined only in the ER Road housing project in Quezon City. It focuses on the implementation and governance of the expanded 4PH rental housing modality and does not include the engineering design, construction quality, structural integrity, financial performance, or technical feasibility of the housing project. Likewise, it does not assess the program long-term socioeconomic. Lastly, due to the time accessibility and resource constraints, the study is limited to respondents and stakeholders directly involved in the NAIA Road housing project. Therefore, the findings may not be generalized to the other 4PH project or housing programs in the Philippines. Despite this limitation, we believe that this study will provide valuable insights and practical recommendations for the improving collaborative governance and promoting social equity in public housing implementations. Significance of this research provides relevant insights into the implementation of the expanded 4PH rental housing modality at the Q Citizen Homes in Naiya Road housing project. By evaluating the program to the lens of collaborative governance and social equity, this study aims to identify both its strengths and the areas that needs improvement. This study will benefit the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development and the Quezon City local government by providing the evidence-based finding that can help improve the planning, implementation, and monitoring of the 4PH rental housing program. The recommendation may also contribute to enhancing the transparency, accountability, and coordination among the implementing agencies. This study will provide the beneficiaries and the future applicants of the program data related to accessibility, affordability, responsiveness, and exclusiveness. The research can help improve the quality of public housing service and ensure that the government housing program better address the needs of low-income Filipino families. This research serves as a useful reference for policymakers, researchers, and the future students who are interested in housing policy, collaborative governance, public administration, and social equity. The findings may support future studies and contribute to the development of more effective and exclusive public housing policy. Lastly, this studies contributes to the field of public administration by expanding existing knowledge on how collaborative governance can strengthen the implementation of government housing program and promote equitable access to affordable housing.
The first matrix presents the literature that provides the theoretical and conceptual foundation of our study. So these studies emphasize that the success of housing programs depends on effective governance, collaboration, and social equity. So first, Emerson Nabachi and Balog 2012 explained that collaborative governance improved public service delivery through shared decision making among government agencies and stakeholders. So this serves as the primary theoretical foundation of our study because the implementation of the expanded 4PH housing program requires strong collaboration among different institutions. So supporting this, Ansel and Gosh 2008 emphasized that successful collaboration is built on stakeholder participation, trust, and consensus building. So their study reinforces the importance of cooperation among the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development, local government units, and other stakeholders. Similarly, Proven and Kenny's 2007 found that effective network governance depends on coordination, clear governance structures, and resource sharing. So this directly relates to our study, which examines how interagency coordinations influences program implementation. From the perspective of public administration, Frederickson 1990 argues that government should promote fairness and equal access to public services. Likewise, UN Habitat 2023 highlights that inclusive housing policies improve accessibility and social inclusion. So these studies support our variables on accessibility, inclusiveness, and social equity. So finally, Ballesteros and Ancheta 2021 and Dacalos 2025 conclude that strong collaboration among government agencies and stakeholders leads to more effective housing governance and better program implementation. So the second matrix focuses on studies related to housing affordability, policy, and social equity, which directly support the objectives of our research. According to Asian Development Bank and Balinese 2026, rental housing is a practical solution to urban housing shortage. So this supports the relevance of the expanded 4PH rental housing modality. So the World Bank 2023 explained that affordable housing depends not only on financing but also on employment opportunities uh, and proper beneficiary selection. So, likewise, the OECD 2020 states that affordable housing contributes to inclusive economic growth, while OECD 2021 um, emphasizes the importance of continuous government investment in affordable housing. In addition, Ballesteros 2015 found that affordable housing improves quality of life and promotes social inclusion. So, however, Ballesteros, Ramos, and Ancheta 2024 argue that traditional affordability measures do not always reflect the actual experiences of low income households. So, highlighting the need for more comprehensive assessments. So, finally, the Malantat 2025 reported that although the expanded 4PH program has increased housing opportunities, affordability challenges continue to exist. So this finding demonstrates the need of to the further evaluate the program's implementation. For our methodology, this study employed a convergent mixed methods research design, which combines quantitative and qualitative approaches to provide a more comprehensive evaluation of the expanded 4PH rental housing modality. So the study was conducted at the Q Citizen Homes na Road rental housing development in Quezon City. So using purposive sampling, we selected 282 qualified beneficiaries for the survey, while 5 to 10 key informants from DSHUD, the Quezon City HCDRD, and partner agencies participated in the interviews. So this approach allowed us to gather both measurable data from beneficiaries and in-depth insights from program implementers. So for the data collection, we use structured survey questionnaire, semi-structured interviews, and document analysis. So before data gathering, we secured the necessary approvals and validated our research instruments through expert review and pilot um, testing to ensure their reliability and clarity. The collected data were then strictly observed ethical principles by obtaining informed consent, ensuring voluntary participation, protecting the confidentiality and anonymity of respondents, and of course, complying with the Data Privacy Act of 2012. So, these procedures help ensure that our findings are reliable, ethical, and useful for developing policy recommendations to improve the implementation of the expanded 4PH rental housing modality.
This study utilized three research instruments to collect reliable and comprehensive data. First, a structured survey questionnaire was administered to the qualified beneficiaries to gather their demographic and socioeconomic profile and assess the implementation of the expanded 4PH rental housing modality using a 5-point Likert scale. Second, a semi structured interview guide was used to obtain in depth insight from a key informants regarding interagency coordination, community participation, transparency and accountability, institutional responsiveness, implementation challenges, and best practices. Lastly, document analysis was conducted by reviewing official program guidelines, project reports, monitoring and evaluation reports, and other relevant publication to validate and support the survey and interview findings. The research instruments were developed based on collaborative governance and social equity theory by Frederickson, relevant literature and studies and guidelines of the expanded 4PH program. Before the actual data collection, the instruments underwent expert validation by our research advisor and subject matter experts to ensure their content, validity, clarity, and relevance. Their recommendations were incorporated through revisions followed by pilot testing and reliability assessment using the Comrades Alpha for the survey questionnaire. So these practices ensure that the final research instruments were reliable, valid, and appropriate for achieving the objective of this study.